Hello guys, my name is BeutNoise and I'm gonna show you how I made the basis of my new track Embrace. So here we are, this over here is the final project file, and over here I have the old basis group. In here I just have the final resample with a couple more plugins just to add like a bit of EQ and reverb. But in here I have the actual sauce, the actual banana, how I made it. So first I'm gonna play a bit of the drop so you have a bit of a context. Okay, so the first thing I want to break down is the flute sound, the lead flute sound. So it's made out of two things. The first thing is actually a flute sample, which is this one over here. And the second one is just an operator with a sine wave and one harmonic. And if I take out all the effects from the group, this is how it sounds. So the effects. So the main thing on this group is this wave shape here over here. So you can see it's a really crazy shape. And what I did, it was just after this chain of plugins, I just pretty much just played with the input knob over here. All the other effects are just like EQing, OTT, disperser, more EQing, soft clipping, reverb, and soothe. Nothing too crazy. This is how it sounds. After that, I just resampled it and moved some of the sounds and like chopped it up a little bit, and because I want like a different feel sometimes, and this is how it ends. So you can feel the two sounds kind of like talking with each other and blending sometimes, and it's really nice. And on the top of that, I have these neuros over here. This is just pretty much audio. There's nothing that I made in this project. It was just like neuros that I made in different sessions. With that, I also have a couple of textures, kind of like layering with the neuro bases, which I made in the past. It's also audio, and a sub which I made in Vital, and all together it's something like this. This is the sub. It's really simple, nothing fancy. It's instead of distorting a sine wave, I just use 3 sine waves, and trying to mimic distortion using harmonics. I'd rather have like just 3 harmonics that I made manually than having a bunch of harmonics that I put with distortion and then having to cut them out by using EQs, And then I just put like a pitch knob and some distorted noise that I had just filtered. And that's it. I just put like the limiter to turn it up a little bit, and Songolizer preset from Maximus on 37%. And this is how the neuros with the sub sounds. Then that's it for this part, at least. Moving to the next one. So I have this bass over here. So in the second part of the first drop, I wanted to have like a neuro bass, like a super heavy one, as the main element of that part of the drop. This is how it sounds in context. So it sort of like still have like the flute in the background, but you can feel like it's taking way more space in the mix. So how I made it was with this operator chain over here. The sound without any effects, it sounds like this. With all the effects. Really sick, right? So I will go one by one. So first I have a frequency shifter. I think I'm just like, automating the fine knob. It's just like to move the frequencies a little bit. Then I have an expander. This is something that I use also on the flute to give more like dynamic range to the sound. In this case, I use it for a different purpose because I wanted to have more dynamic and range and movement before the distortion. As you can see, Then when the sound is louder, it gets even louder, you know, and it gives it like a more of a it enhances the movement a little bit. Then I put a disperser, then another disperser. You can see the settings right here. Then I put an overdrive, which I use to automate the frequency and the dry wet. I use this a lot just to put the EQ all the way down and having this as sort of like an EQ, like a bell EQ, but also has like kind of like some harmonics to where it's going through. And it's really sick for neuro basses to create a bit more movement on the frequencies. Then I have EQ8 just to clean up the muddy frequencies, and then I have this rack, which is just frequency splitting zero effects, which just have like hyper dimension, and I just use it for giving a bit of stereo width. Then this is the sauce. This is what gives what makes the sound this sound, you know? And it's just amp. Amp is super underrated when it comes to do this. You know, I see a lot of people using amp, or like using it as sort of like a saturator to give a bit like color to sounds, but you can use it to really destroy sounds in a really, really interesting way like this. Okay, so then I have disperser, which I put at this time on the high end, and the phase shift of disperser is really cool when you put it on high end with basses that have like a fuzzy top end feeling, you know, the thing. It really enhanced that. Autopan, I think this is also something that I use just for a couple of automations. Yeah, so it gives like more movement in this time on the volume. Then I have OTT to blend everything. Then EQ, then another EQ, this time to boost the high end of the sides. Soothe to clean up the resonances of the mid-high frequencies. And then I have a glue compressor with, yeah, 12 dB of boost. Yeah, and that's it. That's how I make the sound. After I resampled it, you know, and clean it up a little bit, then put it in the mix. Quick tip that I use here is this is really important. So I use this plugin called Stereo Delta, which is not a normal stereo expander. It's way different from, for example, using something like Utility. So when you turn down the width on Utility, you're turning down the volume of the side channel. But when you turn down the knob on Stereo Delta, you're not turning down the volume. You're turning the stereo into mono. So you're not losing anything. Yes, it's a really cool plugin, just one knob. So I just automated the knob, and I wanted some moments where I wanted the sound a bit more mono, and some other moments when I wanted the sound a bit more stereo. And I like to play with that sometimes, you know? Having things on mono is really cool too. Then I have Pro Q, just to clean up the muddy frequencies again, with a dynamic EQ. Then I have Pro MB and a limiter. Yeah, nothing too crazy. Another quick tip, because I also wanted to have the neuros in audio that I put in the first part of the drop, this ones, on top of that neuro bass. So what I did is that I put track spacer on that neuro bass, and the sidechain is of course that group of neuro basses over here. So what it does is I create like a space for each sound to play when they have to play, you know. Before that, I used Rare. This is a Pultec emulation. This is the one that I use. I really like it. I really like analog obsession shit. I really recommend it. They're free, so you're not losing anything. Then I put a Pro Q and a limiter. That's it. For the last sound, this one, I'm gonna play a bit of that drop, so you also have like a bit of a context here. So how I made that is really simple. So I just resampled this neuro bass over here, the one that I made in Operator. And after the resample, I just put basically this auto filter with a notch moving all the time, you know, and I put like a more EQ and more soft clipping and a fadeaway. I think it's for the end. Yeah. But pretty much what makes this sound a bit more different is this filter over here. So you can see that it's moving a lot. And pretty much that's it. So well guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure to check out the whole EP with the link in the description, and make sure to subscribe to Disciples YouTube channel. And I hope you have a great day. Monkey sends you bananas.